We've made it to season preview season, boys and girls, and we start with Anthony Davis and what to expect for him for the Mavericks this year. All that and more coming up next on the DLLS Mavs podcast. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella. We, of course, are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team every single day, especially when it's season preview time. Anthony Davis going to be first on the docket today, as we are now just 3 weeks away from the Mavericks having media day and just a day more away from training camp opening up in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. That means basketball, gentlemen, is right around the corner on this magical Monday, Tim Cato, as my daughter dubbed it this morning on the way to school. How are we feeling after a good weekend?
Does she say magical Monday most Mondays?
No, this was the first time she used magical for her Monday that she described.
It's maintenance Monday for me. My AC above my bathroom decided to dump out all the water overnight.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Not ideal.
That sucks.
Yeah. Middling Monday. Meh Monday.
Meh Monday for
well,
you?
Middling, because that's a downer. I get to talk to my friends about the Dallas Mavericks.
That's
a
right.
plus.
Who?
Kevin.
Oh,
got it.
TC.
That's right.
Oh.
Shout out to TC hanging out with us today.
Yeah.
Tanner on vacation. He'll be back with us later on this week. So we got TC hanging out with us. That big Monday night for TC later on tonight.
Oh, right.
I did not get my background Pikachu, so everyone has been asking me about this. My phone has been blowing up, and I just want to get out ahead of this right now. This weekend, the Rangers hosted, in fact, yesterday, pretty cruel to do it on a football Sunday, but the Rangers hosted their Pokemon Go night at the ballpark for a day game. Really poorly named event, in my opinion, but every attendee was given in-game a Pikachu with the special background, and I was not there. Now, Gakujin was and shared a screenshot. It looks pretty cool. I am a little jealous, but I did enjoy my football Sunday hanging with my dad and watching some sports. So those are memories I'll cherish for a lifetime, whereas that Pikachu I would only cherish for as long as that game is allowed to exist.
Well, hope you had a good weekend over the weekend. Yes, it was the first official football Sunday of the year. Cowboys will be back in action next Sunday when they host a G-Man at AT&T Stadium at noon a little bit later on this week. I'll tell you where I'll be at. I'll be not here on location with these fellas. I'll be somewhere else, but I'll let you know. But I'll also be hanging out with the guys later on this week on the show as well. But let's get into what we've got today for today's DLLS Mavs podcast. I see you, Ronald. I see you, Ardell. Gal, I see you in there hanging out with his Lone Star. Rob as well hanging out with us here on this Monday. What's the one thing, gentlemen, before we get to Anthony Davis and his season preview in our next couple of segments, what's the one thing that we're not talking about the Mavs, Tim Cato, that needs to be talked about more going into the season? We talk about this team literally every single day, sometimes on the weekends, and we'll be doing a lot more of that when we get to pregame and postgame shows starting in October. But what's one thing ahead, 3 weeks away from Media Day, that we're not talking about that still needs to be talked about for this team this upcoming season?
This was a very challenging one for me to think about, because I'm thinking back over the past couple months. Are you sure there is a single thing we have not talked about regarding this team? Are you, maybe not enough? I think we have covered every possible scenario and angle. Have we been talking enough about Brandon Williams? I feel like we've been talking plenty about him. Have we been talking enough about the uncertainty of the injuries? Have we been talking enough? Maybe we haven't quite talked enough about the assistant coaching staff changes. Maybe that's something. But it's really hard to talk about that. It's not obvious. You can't just look at a coaching staff and, without having insight, without hearing things or seeing how the the team is playing out on the court, you can't just look at that and be like, well, this is going to mean that. Assistant coaches don't have stats. They don't have profile. They have profiles, but you can't just place that over the top of what is to come for this Dallas Mavericks season and say, well, that means this, that means that. When you even started thinking about this, Bobby, what did you look for?
To turn the fan on.
He did look to do that first. He did do that first.
But yeah, I mean, as far
you
as
should be listening to us, not the fan.
Wow.
I see what you did there.
I would say there's room in everyone's life for every platform of their choice, but
I'm just saying in this 1 hour right now.
Indeed, yes, that is correct.
They've got a podcast feed for a reason.
What no one is or not enough people are talking about, I guess. I really don't know. I mean, I think my default answer is Caleb Martin because kind of the running bit on this show. I guess we're not the one to declare what a bit is or whatever, but like we just constantly forget that he's on the team. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. It's just he only played a few games at the end of last season and was clearly not himself. But when healthy, and if his jumper, if he can just figure out his jumper, he is easily the best point of attack defender on the team, and he's one of the better, especially corner 3-point shooters on the team. And he plays a position of need, like a sort of a wing-ish guy that can defend quicker guards. And so if he's good, then that kind of complicates things almost because there's already only so many minutes to go around. But if he's like the Caleb Martin that was on the Heat 2 years ago, then you're going to have to make some room for him in the rotation because he can do things that no one else on this team can do. So I guess that's like an optimistic thing that no one's talking about.
We have definitely talked a little bit about that.
Very little bit.
So I went out I was just taking a look at some stats. It's funny as I was kind of looking for Anthony Davis stuff. I guess it wasn't that funny. I'm sorry to let you down. I will try to do better next time, Kevin.
Thank you.
I was looking for Anthony Davis stats, and I did stumble upon something that is definitely not an Anthony Davis stat. But last season, Caleb Martin had the flattest jump shooting arc. Shut up. We're not doing this again. It's Monday. I'm getting my speaking voice back on.
Okay. Just talking about Sharton.
Can we say that?
I don't know.
We just did.
It's been said.
It's been said.
I don't think it's a bad word.
That's my favorite bit when someone says, can that be said after it's actually been said? Like, it's been said.
It's a portmanteau of a word that we're not supposed to say on here. Mark Cuban aside. His arc, his jump shot arc angle was the lowest. It was below 40 degrees. That is unheard of. A lot of people said last season that was because he had a shoulder injury. He's always had a weird jumper, but that was in part because he was playing injured and then he wasn't fully right. But it's not like this is a guy who went through a summer surgery and is supposed to be all good. And when you think about, like, oh, was this just a one season outlier? No. He had the 8th flattest jump shot in the past 4 seasons, 2 seasons ago. Some other players above him are Kawhi Leonard.
Having a flat shot it's not bad.
Kawhi Leonard has a very flat shot. Jimmy Butler has a very flat shot. Those are guys who have finished above him. But yeah, in general, you want to be around 45. If you are a outlier to this degree, you have to be the exception to the rule, and Caleb Martin obviously was not the exception to the rule last season.
Year before he was, though. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Or 23, I guess, on it, whatever season that was.
One person or player I don't think we've talked about enough in the amount of players that we've talked about. I'm going to take it all the way back to February 1st. No, I'm not talking about Anthony Davis. No, I'm not talking about Luka Doncic. No, I'm not talking about that 2029 first-round pick.
Maxi Kleber.
Not talking about Maxi Kleber or Markieff Morris, who was also part of that trade. Max Christie. Max Christie, in his first 7 games as a Dallas Maverick, averaged 17 points per game, a little over 17 points per game. And we thought it became the Max Christie trade all of a sudden for those 7 games where he played well, had a 23-point game against the Houston Rockets on that February 8th game where the Mavericks, won that day where they set a team or had a season-high 18 blocks as a team. But things kind of dropped off from there, obviously, as the season went on. But then you start to look at the final 4 or 5 games of the regular season, had an 11-point game, 11, 17, 14 to end his season. had a double-digit game in the loss to Memphis, of course, didn't play well against the Sacramento Kings. But I think a lot of fans are excited about the idea of Max Christie and what he can do potentially in a full year here. I'm interested when we get to his player preview, down the line, what folks will be thinking about in terms of his ceiling. And more importantly, we've had some conversations about whether or not maybe he should crack the starting lineup given some of the lack of point of attack defending that this team has. One of the things that he had coming over from Los Angeles was a reputation of being a good defender and defending a lot of the other team's best player on an occasional night. So Max Christie I think is a guy that we've talked about a little bit, but not nearly as much going into this upcoming season, that I think could have some impact given what we saw, what he did initially here, but also he's still a very young player that has a chance to still do some growing here on this Mavericks team.
Yeah, that goes back to Caleb Martin not going to get how does Caleb Martin fit in the rotation?
Mm-hmm.
As we see it, he might not get a lot of minutes, but Max Christie, same problem. And that's why the Cooper as a 2 is just shocking in part because Christie and Caleb Martin, when they're both playing well, are more than deserving of minutes. I mean, they deserve a lot of minutes. Martin was a starter on a finals team. Max Christie can definitely be a starting level player, I think, if he keeps developing. So, it's just weird. But they just have so many guys. It's on a team without many guards. They do have a lot of guards. They just don't have a lot of lead guards. But Martin, Christie, Clay, potentially the nicknameless Najee.
That's right.
Depending on where you see him, Cooper, depending on where you see, they got a lot of dudes that can play the 2, and only one of them can be on the floor at the same time.
I like Max Christie as an answer. I'm not sure I like the idea that we're saying, oh, he just shot the hell out of the ball. A classic hot streak for 7 games, and that means something that it doesn't. Look at the totality of everything that he did for the Mavericks last season, and I think overall he had a encouraging reason to be optimistic performance. When you add it all up, you just look at those 7 games. Yeah, I mean, you could do that for a lot of players. It just, I think there is a confirmation bias, a cognitive bias that when a player does something for 7 games, you start thinking something because there's no past track record. He has a past track record of not hitting mid-range, not just spamming mid-range shots. That is not something, outside of that 7-game stretch that he typically does. And because he came down from it, I know some people have pushed or pointed out the fact that, he was the guy most affected by Kyrie. I think there's a little bit of truth to that because Kyrie is the player probably best on this team at generating 3-point looks for others.
His numbers fell off a cliff when Kyrie got hurt. So, I mean, there's credence to that for sure.
I think there's a little bit of credence. I don't know if there's credence to the fact that he is some 2-point, not to say that he was asked to create 2-point shots, just that he was somebody really using spot-up opportunities to drive into pull-up 2s. Is that going to be his role, especially when he's getting even fewer minutes? Is that something that you want him doing regularly, and is he going to perform on that? I think the question for me is just how high is his 3-and-D ceiling? And is that something that's going to force him into the conversation?
Yeah, and 11 games, including the game where Kyrie got hurt, which actually he was only 1 for 5 in, so I could be a real dork about it and include that one too. But in the 11 games he played with Kyrie, 44% from 3. In the 20 games without Kyrie, 33% from 3. So I would say, yes, he is obviously not a mid-range god like Kawhi, but I also think based on his career, he's not a 33% 3-point shooter. So, whenever he's out there with a real guard, I would expect him to have, better shooting numbers.
Total last season from 3 to 10 feet, he shot under 40%. From 10 to 16 feet, he shot 31%. From 16 feet to the 3-point line, he shot 37%. He did shoot in total a 37% on threes. I think that is more accurate, more fair, more true to Max Christie as a role player. I think he's going to be something around 37, 38%.
And that's good.
That's good, yeah.
But I'm also saying the cognitive bias of looking at that 7-game stretch where he shot 50% plus on all jumpers anywhere on the court. That it's okay for that just to be a hot streak. It doesn't take away from the fact that he can and may and should be a good role player for Dallas.
I don't think anyone's looking at that and saying look, he's an all-star. I mean, I was jokingly saying that at the time.
We all were. We were having a lot of fun with that during that 7-game
We needed a little pick-me-up. But
we did, yeah.
Yeah, he played well. But then, I mean, it was very obvious when Kyrie went down, he became kind of a shell of himself. He had a 2 of 11 game from 3. No one could do anything on offense. No one could get things going. So I don't think that anyone is like overly high on him from that stretch, but I think everyone is probably, well, not everyone. Many people are overly low on him because of what happened after Kyrie went out.
Couple comments from the chat. Lion Star 14, they really need to make consolidation trades down the road. Gagic is mentioning how it's going to be very difficult to manage this roster with all the
10 guys play the same position.
Exactly. With how deep this team is. So there's going to be a lot to look forward to when it comes to see how Jason Kidd manages this team this upcoming season. Speaking of which, let's take our first break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. When we come back, we get into our player season previews, and we start with the man in the middle, Anthony Davis, what we expect from him, and some ideas about what his season could look like. All that and more coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, folks. We make decisions every day. Prize Picks is one of the only places you can go, though, where being right can also put money in your pocket. And it's very safe and easy to withdraw that money whenever you win as well. Everything is very fast. Everything is very secure on Prize Picks. But it's also safe to actually play the game. Guys get hurt. It's the NFL. It's really physical. And like tonight, for example, I got Caleb Williams to throw a touchdown, J.J. McCarthy to throw a touchdown, and Justin Jefferson to catch more than 6 balls. But guys get hurt. On Prize Picks, though, if a player leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. You get your money back, and you can keep having fun. So there is no reason not to play. It is a great time. And right now, they're running a really good deal. Download the app today and use code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that is code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
When you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you want to show that off. And Branded Bills wants to do that with their premium headwear and apparel. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd? Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. You can start your order today, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel that you need and that you will love. They have a partnership with 40 colleges as part of their campus collection, including TCU, Texas Tech, and Texas. They got a big win this past weekend over San Jose State. Arch Manning looking real good in his second career start. With Branded Bills, make sure you head to brandedbills.com and use code BBDLLS for 15% off your first order. Again, that's BBDLLS for 15% off your first order with Branded Bills premium headwear and apparel.
I love
today.
A good hat, man. I love a good hat.
You love a good hat? This is we're getting a little bit closer to sweater weather, hoodie season, beanie season. So make sure you check out Branded Bills when it comes to your premium headwear and apparel. It is season preview time as we get closer to training camp beginning at the end of the month. Media day exactly 3 weeks away from today from your Dallas Mavericks, where you will hear from your favorites, including rookie Cooper Flagg, the #1 overall pick, who apparently has been playing NBA 2K26 to get a better feel for how he will play alongside his teammates and Anthony Davis and others. So he's been playing NBA 2K26 to see how he fits alongside his new teammates this upcoming year.
Yeah, that's how I used. That's the same excuse I used with my mom. I'm like, Mom, let me play Oregon Trail. I'm going to learn about history.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Call of Duty. It's actually it's about World War II, and thus it's a history lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So you should let me play some more video games.
It is good to know that he has hobbies. And the fact that he plays video games.
His hobby is basketball.
It does increase the likelihood that he is a Pokemon fan.
Oh, okay. That's because he plays video games.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Well, maybe we can ask him about that during media day if you can.
Maybe you should.
maybe I'll ask him that question. We got some questions about Anthony Davis of this upcoming season as the man in the middle, the man who's going to be giving the Mavericks arguably their best chance to succeed this year. We got to get into his season preview. We start that today, and we'll be doing so over the next couple of weeks as we get closer to not only media day, but of course the beginning of preseason as well, Bobby Karalla, as Anthony Davis, who came over the trade back on February 1st in exchange, of course, for Luka Doncic, played in that February 8th game, was injured after what was a dominant 2.5 quarters, was able to come back eventually toward the end of the year, had a 40-point game in the game against Memphis in the final game of the season, which they lost. But at the same time, this is a top 10 player objectively and one of the best two-way players when he's healthy.
He's a very, 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 very good player, very unique player. unfortunately, we didn't really get to see him be that guy. I mean, I would say in the playing games, he was really good, especially that game in Sacramento. But I mean, the game in Memphis too, he was awesome. Got hurt at the end, and he was fantastic on a night when the rest of the team didn't really look like they were up to the task. But for most of his regular season run, he was either absent or working his way back from injury. And so I think that, limited evidence of seeing him be the stud that he is, combined with obviously a lot of hurt feelings and anger and stuff about the trade, kind of leaves like this weird cloud hanging over him. Tim, in your fan survey, he was what? How many votes did he get for favorite Mav?
I think like 4 of 500.
4 out of 500.
4 out of 500.
So less than 1% of respondents think that he's their favorite Mav. I mean, I would say basically if he has the kind of season that he's capable of having, I would say next year I'm confident that number will at least double, if not triple.
Let's hope so.
Or go by a lot more. I mean, he's really damn good, and over the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to each share a big idea, a big thought about this guy.
We were talking about the defense and the ceiling of the defense. I think it was with Isaac Harris a couple weeks ago, and I was saying some stuff about like, is it guaranteed? Do I think it's guaranteed Dallas has a top 10 defense? And I should clarify that I stand by that in the sense that we need to see how much Anthony Davis is out there, how much Derek Lively is out there. Something would have to go catastrophically wrong for when Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg, PJ Washington, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford. Give me 4 of those 5 on the court, or just available for a game. For those games, out of those games, when all those guys are on the court together, it doesn't matter how good or bad or non-existent your guard play is. They still absolutely should be a top 10 defense in those minutes. We'll see how long it takes for Cooper to get fully up to speed, but he is certainly not going to be a negative, from game one. And we'll see how quickly he figures it all out and becomes, consistently a splashy plus defensive type player in the NBA. If he's not that for the first month, the first 3 months, a like elite plus type guy, if he's not, even in the, short list all defense team candidate, type stuff, that's okay. But he's going to be good. Anthony Davis is going to be great. They have enough length. I do still worry that being so top heavy when you play the very best teams, when you play spacing teams, 5-out teams, when you play teams that can drive and redrive on you without committing mistakes, without turning it over, once they get inside, I do still have concerns about the defensive shell, the defensive structure, the defensive, this roster's makeup against those elite opponents. But I should be clear, like when this team is healthy, overall speaking, they're a top 10. They will be a top 10 defense. The question is, how much is their 2 best defenders, which right now is Anthony Davis and Derek Lively to me, how much are they going to be available? And and when they're all available, are they a top 10 unit? Are they a top 5 unit? Are they pushing towards like top 3?
Here's my big stat, all right, about the defense with Davis. So there's obviously a lot of noise in this because last year there was stretches where Kyrie was out and where he was healthy and where Luka was healthy and then Luka was out and then AD was hurt and so was Kyrie and no one was, Gafford and Lively were out and Kessler Edwards was your center and all that stuff. So take these with a giant grain of salt, but there are a few stats here that I think pretty well sum up what you can expect from the AD-led Mavs on defense this season. So last year, whenever AD was off the floor, so in any circumstance, any combination of 5 players, not including Davis, opponents shot 64.6% at the rim against the Mavs, which is still actually below league average. League average is 66.5%. But whenever AD was on the floor, opponents shot only 60.5% at the rim. So that's a 4 percentage point difference. Whenever AD's on the floor, they missed 1 out of every 25 extra shots. And when they missed those shots, the Mavs got 66.7% of the available defensive rebounds. So 2 out of every 3 misses they were able to scoop up, as opposed to just 58% whenever he was off the floor. So that's an 8 percentage point swing. The league average was under 62%. So the Mavs were a significantly better defense at defending the rim and also scooping up the misses at the rim whenever AD was on the floor. And that to me is pretty obvious because whenever AD's out there, the explanation is pretty obvious. Whenever AD's out there, it was always either Gafford or Lively or Kai Jones next to him or sometimes PJ, but whenever AD was at the 5. But for the most part, you're going to have another big. And for the Mavs in particular, that matters so much because Gafford and Lively and AD for that matter, they basically just they try and block every shot. And it's very risky because that does lead to a lot of blocks, which is really good. But if you go for the block and you fail, you're counting on someone else to box someone out because the only way that a shot is happening at the rim in the NBA for the most part is if a guy beats someone off the dribble. So if a point guard's coming to the rim and Gafford slides over to try and block the shot and misses blocking the floater, then Gafford's man is just right there. That's going to be a putback dunk. And that happened a lot. And I'm not just picking on Gafford. I'm just saying the Mavs clearly, whenever AD was off the floor, they got fewer than 59% of the available rebounds. So almost half of the time, 2 out of every 5 times, the opponent missed a shot at the rim. The other team is getting it back. And basically that's 2 points every time, if not a foul. So AD is able to help erase those because if AD goes to the block and misses, you still have a Gafford or Lively. If Gafford or Lively goes to the block, but they miss it, you still have AD to get the rebound. So that really matters. And corner threes is the other shot. So shots at the rim and corner threes are the 2 most efficient shots in basketball by far. Those are the 2 things you want to stop. Here's where it gets a little more dangerous. So the league average corner 3 frequency is 10.7% of your shots are going to be corner threes. When AD was on the floor, opponents took nearly 12.5% of their shots as corner threes and shot almost 44% on those shots. League average was 38.8%. So opponents took significantly more corner threes and shot significantly better at them. And so what you're doing is very clearly trading rim protection for perimeter presence. You're saying, I'm willing to prioritize limiting layups, dunks, turning potential layups into 8-foot floaters, turning potential 8-foot floaters into 12-foot pull-ups. These are much harder shots in exchange for conceding more corner threes and hoping that over the course of 82 games, it just becomes a make or miss thing. And that's a very dangerous game to play. Don't get me wrong, but 43.8% is unreasonably high. I don't expect, even if you leave opponents open on that shot all season, you're not going to see that number. It's probably going to be closer to 41 or 42%, but still that matters. That is way far above league average. And if the Mavs are going to allow a lot of those too, then you are opening yourself up to some risk reward where you're is it worth saving an extra couple percentage points at the rim to just keep conceding these open jump shots, 15 times a game. So it's
because theoretically you feel like a team is going to miss more of those long range jumpers throughout the course of a season rather than getting into the paint and having a better percentage shot.
The hope is that the other team has a lousy shooter that you can leave open.
Yeah.
And then that they bury that guy in the corner. I mean, it worked as recently as 23-24, it worked. Mavs just leaving guys open. It was Josh Giddey in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it worked. And he wasn't the only one, but I mean, the Mavs did that a lot in 21-22. They implemented a lot of ball pressure to kind of save Luka's legs and Jalen Brunson's legs, and they just left the bad shooter open. But teams are catching up. Teams don't play bad shooters really hardly at all anymore. And if they do, they certainly don't put them in the corner. You want that outlet, that safety valve to be a good player. So it's kind of risky, but that's my big AD thing. That is the math problem that they're trying to solve.
Yeah, and this has been my fear, and it's still my fear when I talk about whether their scheme can hold up against elite teams. It's just elite teams, all of them have so many good shooters. If you hit 40% from the corners, that's a 1.2, 120 offensive rating. That's, pretty much the best offense of all time. Like teams salivate over looks like that. And what was available, what was possible 2-3 years ago, when Jason Kidd absolutely got more out of this team's defense, more out of the sum of its parts, is increasingly less possible every year, which is why you're seeing teams like the Thunder who really prioritize perimeter defense, so that you're not giving up. If you have a bad perimeter defender, but they have a bad offensive shooter, that's a wash. And that was the case when Luka was a bad defender. At times for stretches, you could offset that because they had essentially the opponents were playing down a man as well. So it was
It turned into 4-on-4.
Exactly.
Only you have an extra guy hanging out around the lane.
Exactly. And that's the one thing that's getting harder to do. So there is still going to be a lot of pressure on Dallas finding ways that they're, finding perimeter defenders that can guard for this team, that can make sure that, that they're not dealing. You don't want to get in, 5-on-4 situations where the other team has a man coming downhill and, four players in advantageous situations, for teammates to pass to. Again, I do think Dallas' size helps mitigate a lot of this, but.
Let's take our next break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. When we come back, more on Anthony Davis' season preview, including these ideas about him and what he could be doing for Dallas. All that and more coming up next.
If you are a diehard, you're already my best friend. If you're not a diehard and you want to be my best friend, let me tell you how to sign up and support DLLS. Basically, everything you get with these shows, the 1 hour daily pregame, extra content here and there. Imagine all of that and then more. And then even more.
Wow.
For one, you get immediate access. I mean, this is a huge draw. You get access to all the premium diehard written content across all 5 DLLS, sports, all Dallas sports, all major sports. And you get that, you're also going to start seeing a little bit of national content kind of flickering in. And so that is, so much of that just serves as an amplification for everything that we do here on the show. It's basically a lot of the stuff that we research, that we find, a lot of the numbers, a lot of the ideas, that we spend the time in for the show, also gets turned into, written content and more. When you sign up, and today is the last day of our $36 football
Expires
intro
tonight.
offer.
That's right.
Expires tonight.
It ain't week 1 for much longer.
It is not.
No, it is not.
You get a free gift shirt of your choice from our store. You can go get any DLLS shirt. Basically pays for the price that you just signed up for. You get a shirt and a membership out of it. That's pretty good. You also get access to the Discord, where all the diehards hang out. They pop in there, they chat, about the games while they're going on.
There are actually a lot of diehards that aren't a member of the Discord, and the invite link is on your profile. So when you sign up, go to your little dashboard on alldls.com, and it will show you the link to join the Discord. It is a great place to hang out.
You get 20% off all events and merch. You get a diehard welcome kit. You get the physical diehard card. There's so much in the membership. Go to alldls.com/diehard. Sign up.
Let's continue our season preview on Anthony Davis. By the way, it is Big Brothers, Big Sisters month here at DLLS Sports and across the ALLCITY network. We want you to become a big, and you can sign up at bbbs.org to become a big and support your community through Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And we're doing that all month here at DLLS Sports and across the ALLCITY network. Let's talk about some ideas around Anthony Davis and what his season could not only look like, but what it means for a team that's going to be featuring a lot, and I mean a lot, of defense this upcoming year with arguably the best front court in the association. And we were kicking around some of the ideas earlier about Anthony Davis' importance, what things he could bring from a defensive standpoint. What is one thing, Bobby, you started to mention yours at the, in our last segment. Tim, I'll start with you on this. What's kind of the one big idea, one big thought for you when it comes to Anthony Davis and his season this upcoming?
What's the offense going to look like when you're trying to run offense, like run the ball through him at the post? And I think there's a lot of ways it could go. I think that we're going to see a lot of fun moments. I think Anthony Davis has proven that, he is not he doesn't have like the floor mapping, can find the open guy, can just kind of count the number. He can't card count, he can't defender count and know exactly where the open guy is, but he is very capable as a interior passer, especially at just releasing a slip pass. There's always going to be guys around the basket, unfortunately for the opponents as well. But Dallas is going to have people cutting to the rim all the time. That's my guess. It's going to be a lot of DHO stuff. There is a question, though. Is he going to get double teamed? Like, is that going to be a way that Dallas can start to create advantages out of the post? Anthony Davis with the ball, and defense looks at it, and they're like, oh, no, we can't allow that to happen. Let's send a second guy, and that's going to just start the chain reaction. It only happened, Anthony Davis being double-teamed in the post. It only happened 7 times per game last season, which a pretty. I mean, it's a high number. It's one of the higher ones in the league. It is not as high as, say, Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, who are both being double teamed like 10 times a game. Anthony Davis, especially with the Lakers, played in a lot more spacing. There's more spacing all around him last season. And this number, the 7 per game, comes from that time. So I think it's interesting. There's lots of different ways that you can double team. And I'd actually be very curious how exactly Spectrum specifically tracks what a double team is. But for a team with clearly that had less shooting, a lot less shooting, Orlando, they had the worst spacing in the league for the entirety of the year. Their stars were getting double teamed all the time. I do think that it's quite possible. I think opponents will go into games against Dallas with 2 ideas. One is that they're going to pack the paint so much and dare Dallas to shoot, within reason. You're not leaving everybody, but they're going to pack the paint so much that they're just never going to double team. Help defense, sure, but you're never going to send another guy. But I could also see a scenario where, because the spacing is a little questionable, it might be the situation where it's that half double. And I think everybody has seen it. Dallas does it a lot, where it's not that you're sending another guy to go try to swipe the ball out of the player's hands. It's that you're sending another guy to just kind of stand behind the man defender. And they're just standing there, just clogging it up. And so basically it's a bet, it's a challenge that's saying, Anthony Davis, you're going to have to swing the ball to the corner, and then Dallas is going to have to, swing until they get an open shot from, out of that opportunity. I do think that could set up Cooper Flagg really well if it's, Anthony Davis and Derek Lively and maybe PJ in the corner, and then he swings to Cooper Flagg. And now Cooper Flagg is attacking a defense that is starting to adjust, that is getting back into its shell. And Cooper Flagg is just so big. He's just he's such a, just difficult to deal with driving force, just physically speaking, that you may not get back in time, or maybe you do, but you're just getting set as he's getting the ball. And, as he goes past you, he's so big that, you try to get a bump in, and it turns out, oh no, he's still going right by, and that's a foul, and it's a whistle, and Cooper Flagg's going to the rim again. I just think that in total, Anthony Davis he may be a major part, he will be a major part of the Mavs offense, but I don't think their best offense, their sharpest offense, is going to run through him all the time. There's going to be nights where his jumper falls, but if you're thinking about, where where can we get a good look from? Because I think that is the plus of Anthony Davis. You give him the ball and 15 feet from the rim, and you like the fact that you're going to get a pretty decent pull-up jumper, floater, something from that. But in terms of scrambling defenses and constantly getting wide open threes and great looks all around the court, I don't know if that's going to be the primary means for Dallas to do that.
I'm not going to say anything groundbreaking here, but I think what I'm going to say is going to underscore the importance of Anthony Davis this upcoming season. Anthony Davis is the most important Maverick on this team as they are constructed and what the vision of this team looks like. I know folks will say Kyrie Irving and him coming back from his torn ACL and what that means for a potential playoff push once he does return. Obviously, Derek Lively continuing to grow and be better as a player. Cooper Flagg on this team as the number 1 pick, and what does his ceiling begin to look like and how that flourishes as the season goes on. But this season will go as Anthony Davis will go and how far he can take them, which obviously means that his health is going to be the number 1 priority for the Mavericks this upcoming season. We're talking about a guy that's a 10-time All-Star, a former number 1 overall pick, one of the best two-way players, if not the best two-way player in the game today. And last year, in just 9 regular season games that he played with the Mavericks, averaged 20 and 10. We know what kind of dominant force Anthony Davis can be. To me, Bobby, this season goes as far as he can take them even when Kyrie Irving comes back, because we know what Kyrie Irving looks like next to another superstar. Anthony Davis has to be the one available next to him once he does come back to be able to give this team the best chance, not only for the regular season until he gets back, but also as they get ready to go into the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, best players on teams carry a lot of responsibility, arguably more in the NBA than in any other sport, with the exception of maybe quarterback. Because, I mean, even if AD doesn't get 100 touches a game like Luka and Jokic and Brunson and very few other players do, last season he still averaged among the leaders in front court touches per game, and also is going to be the quarterback of the defense. So he's going to be, to some degree, the focal point on offense, will probably lead the team in scoring. Maybe even once Kyrie comes back, AD still will. And he's also going to be probably shouldering the most responsibility on defense every single night. And that's something that Mavs fans have really never seen from anyone on this team, with the exception of maybe Ro Blackman 40 years ago. The best player on the Mavs for my entire life has just always been do everything on offense, just be amazing on offense, and then just kind of fit in. Just be, just don't make me notice you on defense.
Yes, exactly.
Dirk and Luka, and there have been some other guys over the years, but for the most part, that's it. And they've been supported by excellent, hopefully at times, excellent defensive players. Well, now it's different. Now the Mavs' best player is going to be doing a lot on offense, shouldering maybe even a Dirk level load on offense, while also being a Tyson Chandler level guy on defense. So it's a different kind of expectation. There's no possessions off. There's no, for AD, his possession off will be on offense, not defense. It's just a different kind of viewing experience, and a different kind of responsibility and workload. But yeah, he is by nature, by definition, he is going to be their most important player, because he's their most important player at both ends of the floor until Kyrie comes back. We've never really seen that.
In seasons where we've had full 82-game seasons in Anthony Davis's career, he has played at least 75 games 3 times. He did that in 2016, 2017, 2018, and then didn't do it again until the 23-24 season, his last full season, of course, with the Los Angeles Lakers. I bring that up because, again, the overarching theme for this team in a number of ways is availability. And his availability is paramount to the success of this team. If they want this trade to work long-term, if they want the success and the identity that's been built on defense, winning championships, being successful, it hinges on that dude being on the floor a lot. And if he is, this team can win a lot of games and be in position that when Kyrie Irving comes back, that they'll have a chance to make some noise in the postseason. But for me, everything starts with Anthony Davis's availability and then trickles down from there when it comes to
when did he make his return last year? It was against Brooklyn on Monday, March 24th, right? Does that sound right? Okay, so Kyrie got hurt on March 3rd. The Mavs played 10 games without them. And that night, we'd said, they're going to lose every game until AD comes back. Now, they didn't. They won 2 games without AD. So they went 2-8 without AD and Kyrie last season. That's probably about the clip they'll win this year without both of them.
Yeah.
And so every single game that AD misses until Kyrie comes back, which, dude, it's not his fault. If he gets hurt, it's not his fault. But every single game that he misses, they're probably going to lose. They lost, I don't know what the record was last year without Kyrie and Luka before the trade, but it had to have been ghastly. It's going to be one of those things. When he's on the floor, even without Kyrie, I think they're going to have a decent chance to win every game no matter who they're playing. When he's off the floor without Kyrie, I think they're going to have a really decent chance to lose no matter who they're playing. And that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure for a guy to have that has already missed so many games the way that he has.
Anthony Davis is in line for hopefully a healthy and big season for this team. He is going to be the defensive anchor on that side of the ball, in a lot of ways the offensive anchor as well, until Kyrie Irving comes back from that torn ACL. What this Mavericks team will look like around him all season long will be a storyline that we will obviously continue to follow throughout the course of this season. If you missed anything when it comes to our Anthony Davis preview, make sure you can check it out on our DLLS Mavs podcast, wherever you get your podcast for free. You can also watch it, of course, here on DLLS Sports. Let's take our final break here on our show today. When we come back,
this show is flying by.
It is flying by today. Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun. Let's take a look around the association. The Eurobasket quarterfinals are set, and this player turned down a contract from the New York Knicks. I'll tell you who it is next.
Movie clubs. Someone save me.
It's flying by. I forgot it was at segment 3.
Well, you got to lock in, man.
Well, I'm empathizing with you.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying like,
okay, gotcha. You're
this-
losing yourself in the moment.
yeah, like it snuck up on me too. I was like,
Gotcha.
oh wait, like
Yeah.
it's
You
our
only get one
third
shot.
break and
when I
Bobby's up.
Yeah, I forgot that I
No,
volunteered.
I
Yeah.
promise I'm empathizing.
We're watching Love and Basketball this week. I'm really, really, really excited for this one. It's the only movie on the list that I have not seen before.
By the way, over the weekend,
Yeah.
the Wings played at the Sparks in Los Angeles. Guess who was sitting courtside for the Wings Sparks game?
Love, or was it basketball? I don't know who's in. Is it someone from the movie?
Sanaa Lathan.
Okay, I don't know who the actors are in the movie.
Yes, she of course is.
Is she the star?
She's the star of the movie alongside Omar Epps.
Gotcha. Okay.
But she,
Dude,
was,
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I'm excited for these gentlemen to watch.
Yeah,
Love
and so
Basketball.
we're gonna be.
Yes.
When are we doing that? Thursday or Friday? Probably Friday.
It might be.
Oh, you're gone, right?
Yeah, it might be next week.
We can't do it next week. Well, we can't. Yeah, we can't do it on Wednesday.
Yeah, I can't do it
Can't
Wednesday.
when are you leaving?
Where
are you going?
Well, okay. I'm leaving. I won't be here starting on Wednesday for the rest of the week. I'll be in Las Vegas. I'm covering the Canelo Alvarez Bud Crawford super fight in Vegas this
So
week.
you're leaving on Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm leaving on Wednesday.
All right, so we're doing Love and Basketball on Monday.
There we go. Okay, I can watch it in Vegas. I'll watch it in
All right,
Vegas.
perfect.
Yeah, I can watch it in Vegas.
Perfect.
I'll
Love and
have
Basketball
some time
Monday.
to kill. Yeah, I'll be able to watch it in Vegas.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one. And yeah, excited for you to go to Vegas as well. But yeah, if you wanna stay up to date on all the latest film trends, check out Love and Basketball and join us next week for our review. It's been a fun little side quest this
I've
summer.
had a good time with our movie club review this summer between Uncut Gems, which I'm only going to watch once. I can't do that movie again. But also Air Bud, we've reviewed and watched Coach Carter last week. We started off with what was Space Jam. It's one of the great soundtracks of all time. Jacob says
iconic films.
It is definitely iconic basketball film. Jacob says just do the show from Vegas. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, Jacob.
They won't let me go to Vegas.
Well, I mean,
They let you once. What
That's
happened?
true.
but you are coming back to Vegas though in October.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you'll be in Vegas in
Yeah,
October.
I'm pretty sure I am. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff planned when it comes to. Well, okay, all right, TC.
Not that one.
Now wait,
Not that one. Different one.
that's a different one. The Cowboys, they are going to Vegas though, November 15th through the 18th.
No, we're Mavs. We're Mavs.
But we'll be there in the mid-October when the Lakers take on the Mavericks at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. So stay tuned for more details on that. But we'll be there in Las Vegas for that. Let's finish up around the association here on today's show. Our guy Mark Stein dropping his latest Substack piece. We'll get to that here in just a second. But some Mavericks news over the weekend. Did you see, gentlemen? Jason Kidd, your current Mavericks head coach, went into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
As a head coach?
No. He did go though, as part of the 2008 Redeem team.
Oh, nice.
They were all inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Of course,
Do they just put every gold medal team in there, or what?
I'm not sure.
What is like the reason?
Well, we know the story about the 08 Redeem team, the 04 team that did not win the gold medal. They revamped, of course, Team USA Basketball. They got it all. Jerry Colangelo and everyone else got it all back together. Jason Kidd was actually the captain of that team. Whoa, on the microphone. Jason Kidd was the captain of that team back in 2008, led by upstarts by guys that you know, LeBron James. Chris Paul was on the team. The late Kobe Bryant was also on that team as well. But the 2008 Redeem team going into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. So Jason Kidd now a two-time Basketball Hall of Famer, of course, in as a player already, but now also part of the 2008 Redeem team, which also means that technically LeBron James, as an active player, along with Chris Paul, are Basketball Hall of Famers, technically, because they are both were part of that team. So not bad. But congratulations to Jason Kidd getting back into the Hall of Fame once
You know
again.
what? I think Jason Kidd should do a media tour to acknowledge and celebrate this accomplishment, and feel free to come back in studio.
Yep.
We will definitely ask at least one question about that.
And you're right, Jacob. I did not
Maybe.
know this as well until LeBron James
What
pointed
would
it
you
out.
ask him right now?
Oh, you don't know that? Okay.
What
I
would
mean,
you
I
What would
always
you
have
ask him
questions.
if
I'm trying to think
Jacob
of,
was on
like,
the
what's
show?
the-
What would you
I
ask
would
him?
ask him what Jacob is pointing out here. How does it feel to be the only player in Team USA basketball history who never have lost against the international team. Jason Kidd has never lost a game in a Team USA uniform against international competition.
Why didn't they put him on the 04 team?
I mean, I don't know. I guess they wouldn't have lost if Jason Kidd was on the team.
Do you think it was their? I feel like that was probably Jay Kidd's choice. No,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
He might have had something going on in those days.
Do you remember some of the members of that 04 team that did not medal?
Could not say that I do, man. I was in the summer of 04.
Prince.
I was listening to
that's a good
lot
poll.
of Linkin Park and flirting on AIM like at all hours of the day.
One of the Wallaces, Gerald Wallace, I think.
Actually, 04 was the year that I got into football.
Oh, really?
Then a bunch of score first guards.
I bought Madden 05 and NCAA 05 first, actually, and then I got Madden 05, and I became a
Marbury
football
on that
player,
team?
man.
So Tim has named quite a few of them. So
Sean Marion, right?
Sean Marion was on that team. So that 2004 team comprised of Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Dwayne
I was going to
Wade.
say AI, and then I thought it was crazy. Was Emeka Okafor on that team?
Emeka Okafor was on that team.
Yeah,
And you're telling me they lost?
Yeah.
Carlos Boozer, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, as we mentioned, Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire, Tim Duncan, Lamar Odom, and Richard Jefferson.
Tim Duncan couldn't carry him to a gold, man. You hate to see that. That sucks.
But yeah, that was
That
the 2004 team.
You say Kevin Garnett was on that team?
No, Tim
wow.
Duncan.
KG wasn't good enough to be on the team, huh?
But Richard Jefferson made that team.
Interesting. A lot of former Mavs on that list.
A lot of former Mavs on that team. Yeah, that's right. Lion Star 14 name is some of them.
Like LeBron. Future. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. No, not quite. He's saying it was Starberry's fault. Damn, putting it all on Stephon Marbury. The head coach of that team was Larry Brown. The assistant coaches were Greg Popovich, and Roy Williams, and Oliver Purnell.
Unironically, they probably do win with Jason Kidd. There's certainly a.
That's not unironic. Jason Kidd is really freaking good.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I said unironically.
Yeah, wait, what? I don't understand.
Well, I was saying unironically because we were saying he's never lost international games.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at that team's makeup, legitimately, if you put Jason Kidd onto that team, it all of a sudden it makes a lot more sense. Like none of those guards knew anything except dribble into mid-range jumpers, and so
I'm sure they knew more than that. Allen Iverson, you're talking about.
Allen Iverson was the captain of that team at 29 years of age.
It had no spacing. It had no
That's a very 2004 basketball team.
That's a very 2004 basketball team. The two oldest members on that team were Allen Iverson at 29 and Tim Duncan at 28. Those are the two oldest members. The youngest member on that team, LeBron James. He was 19 at the time in 2004. So there you go. But again, congratulations to Jason Kidd making the Basketball Hall of Fame once again. Our guy Mark Stein dropping his latest Substack today ahead of the Eurobasket quarterfinals, which we'll get to here in just a moment. Interesting note coming from that, though. Ben Simmons, who is kind of in limbo in his contract and his career right now, apparently was offered a 1-year deal by the New York Knicks, and he told him, you can keep that. Don't even worry about it. I'm not going to sign here. So Ben Simmons, who apparently and reportedly has been contemplating retirement, was offered a 1-year deal recently by the New York Knicks, and he decided not to go there, which is an interesting decision given where Ben Simmons is in his career. Any Ben Simmons thoughts?
Maybe just I think if you just look at potential and what they could have been, he's something like a top 5 number 1 pick ever. I'm not joking. I really don't think
in terms of talent.
In terms of one of the most fluid athletes we've ever seen at 6'10" with elite court vision, he could have been, and a lot of this was injuries, legitimately. I've never covered him directly. I know that there's criticisms, and my impression is that a lot of them are valid about, just the mentality that he took to improving and bettering his time on the court. But one of the best, some of the highest potential ever of a, and he was awesome. Oh my god!
My god!
Oh wow!
We almost
That's on
lost
the chair,
Tim.
not me.
I don't think so.
No, the back came out.
Tim
again.
too strong
think
for
it's
his own good.
Man,
But
it's just
he was awesome his first few years too.
It just sucks
really
that his
was.
whole career just kind of became a meme. You know,
Yeah.
everyone with the jump shot, I get it. It was kind of funny, but it just, I don't know. It just got weird. It just got really weird. And that was happening around the same time that everyone was just yelling at Westbrook at Russell Westbrook. And it's like, dude, just just be normal. I don't know. It just kind of sucks. There's definitely some sort of psychological, that took a toll on him. I think clearly there's obviously that very famous play when they lost to the Hawks in the playoffs where he had a layup, but he passed it up. And Joel Embiid, I would say, I've never met either Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. I'm sure they're both fine guys. I'm sure they're both flawed humans. Everyone is. But if I was a player that was battling some sort of psychological challenge while also suffering significant injuries that led to me making questionable decisions on the court and being made fun of by fans, I think Joel Embiid would be the single teammate I would want least because he will absolutely show you up at every chance and throw you under the bus at every chance. That's just what it seems like from a distance. So I do feel a lot of sympathy toward Ben Simmons. That said, yeah, I mean, obviously had a lot of potential and didn't pan out. And ultimately, for better or worse, that does fall on the player.
His first 4 full seasons.
And also the process is awful. And
that will be study for years to come.
16 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals and a block. I'm rounding quite a bit up on steals and blocks, but 1.7 and 0.7. He made first team all defense the 1920 and 2021 season. He made all-star games both years. He made NBA all NBA team, third team. He was finished 12th in MVP voting his last year. But again, 16, 8, 8, 2, and 1. That's nuts. That's absolutely really nuts.
Yeah.
And so, in that sense, I 100% agree. Like, it almost sounds like I'm clowning on him more when I'm like, oh, think about what he could have been.
Well, it's sad.
It is sad. Yeah,
yes.
I am speaking. And again, these are the 4 years he played before he missed an entire year with a back injury. Which, if you think about one of the most fluid athletes we've ever seen, but he was 6'10". It turns out sometimes the most special athletes we've ever seen come to the NBA are people whose bodies let them down in the end. But those first 4 years, and he left Philly with, all of the, he basically, I think he made like 25% of his free throws during that playoff run. That's when he passed up, the open dunk or passed out of an open dunk. And so that even on the heels of that 4-year stretch, that 4-season stretch, it was already kind of mockery. But that does suck because he was really, really, really that good.
All just comes back to GM of the Sixers intentionally drafting in the top 5 year after year after year players that were going to miss the entire season or seasons with injuries and not creating an infrastructure to support those players. Almost all of them have completely washed out of the league. Almost all of them have had off-court issues.
The fact that they got
I don't even mean legal. I just mean like psychological stuff. Yeah. Like that organization set up every single one of those players to fail.
Yeah, the fact that they got 1 MVP out of Joel Embiid is unbelievable.
Injuries.
Yeah.
But they knew what they were signing up for.
Yeah.
With all of those guys.
All of them.
Yet they kept doing it. Hey, injured player, here's an unholy amount of pressure. Also, your job is to lose every game. See you later. Way to set the foundation.
Yeah. Ben Simmons at his peak was one of the most fun players to watch in the open floor. Like Ben Simmons was a freight train and a locomotive in the open floor.
Best Luka defender I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, was great against Luka as a defender. Gave him fits all the time. Speaking of Luka, the Eurobasket quarterfinals are set as Luka Doncic and Team Slovenia, Greece led by Giannis Antetokounmpo, powering their teams into the Eurobasket quarterfinals, which will feature Lithuania, Greece, Germany, Slovenia, Turkey, Poland, Finland, and how about upstart Georgia making the final 8?
What do you mean upstart? They played great a couple years ago with Dave Dufour as their assistant coach.
Oh, wow. Is he one of our owners? Is he just a friend of the pod?
I am actually trying to remember.
I don't think he's been on our airwaves.
He hasn't been on
I think he's just a friend of the show.
That's an error on my end.
Yeah.
Need to bring him in.
Yeah, way to go, Tim.
Yeah.
But
Georgia Watch Along starring Dave Dufour?
I don't see why not.
All right.
Why not?
Yeah. I love Atlanta.
But some star-studded players left in the Eurobasket quarters, led by Luka Doncic. Obviously, Giannis still there. Lauri Markkanen has had a phenomenal tournament so far for Finland as they are into the quarterfinals.
Could have been a Mav 2 different times.
San Antonio should have traded for him when he was available.
I agree.
A couple of years ago.
Any favorites to get to the semis out of the 8 teams that I named there? Lithuania will face.
Germany's probably the best team left, right?
Then they're playing Slovenia.
Yeah, they play Slovenia. Yeah,
in one of the quarters.
That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough for Slovenia to win that game because coming into the tournament, I would have said Germany and Serbia were the two best teams.
And Serbia's
got bounced. So I'd say Germany is probably the favorite, but I mean, if you want to bet against Luka, I guess go ahead. But yeah, I would say the winner of that game might be the team that wins it.
Lithuania led by, of course, Kristaps Porzingis and Jonas Valanciunas. They're going to take on Giannis in Greece.
KP's on Latvia.
Also in Latvia. Thank you so much and they're out. So there you go.
Tough one
for them. So there you go. There's your Eurobasket.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that Giannis is actually playing for Greece. That makes it tougher. Okay. Yeah, maybe Greece.
I think they've got Tyler Dorsey.
That's a former Mavs great.
Yeah. There you go.
Very good international player.
Germany, I believe, is the only team remaining starting multiple NBA players.
Makes sense.
I believe.
And that's your Eurobasket quarterfinals that are set because the tournament continues. That'll do it for us here on today's show. Appreciate our guy TC hanging out with us. Good luck to your Bears tonight on Monday Night Football
TC?
As they take on the Minnesota Vikings.
Any final words?
No, TC's good.
Says no.
He's saving all his voice for later on the night.
Dying after this, TC?
Yeah.
You want a last meal as well?
Jeez, man. That's our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Crow. That's our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 12 p.m. right here on DLLS Sports. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.